We do indeed. Look who is home. It's Genet Jackson. And she's giving us a view of her tail for once. Or he, I don't even know if it is a male or a female. Difficult to say. But that tail is just dangling out of the hole. And this is the best view we've ever had. Well, that I've ever had of this Genet since we've been checking this hole. But it's really cool to see that the Genet is inside and that it's in a situation where it's relaxed enough that it hasn't tucked its tail and run up the tree. But we're quite far away. And we're just sitting behind a little bit of a bush. We're not going too close. And there is the Genet's tail sticking out. How cool is that? That's very cool. So we haven't got a leopard, but we do have a spotty carnivore, which is, well, next best prize, isn't it? Now, this particular genet is a large spotted genet. It's because it's got the black tip to the tail, not the white tip of the small spotted. And we are going to try and creep closer. Now that we have seen that it is there, I'm going to try and see what it will do if we go a little closer and just try and change our angle slightly, that we can maybe see into the hole a little bit. I'm just going to see, sorry, there's going to be a bit of a shake on the camera because obviously as I move, so Viam's going to try and just keep a view, maybe from there, Viam. Can we see in there? No, we can't really. Let's try a little closer, Viam. Seems as though it's okay. Is it moving? No, it's not moving just yet. Let's go a little closer. Just watch that tail. If it starts to move, let me know, Viam. I'm going to try and just get in here and try and sneak in. We're trying to habituate Genet Jackson to us and try and see if she'll allow us, or he, like I say, will allow us a bit of a better view. Well, it's not moving too much, at least. The tail's still sticking out. This is a process of slow and steady might win the race. I've done many leopard habituations, but very seldom have I done a genet habituation. So we're trying our best. There's a guarri bush that's in the way at this stage, and we'll try and see what we can get. Spira, you say your first sighting of Miss Jackson. She's elusive, isn't she? She's just like a celebrity. You can never get near her. So she's, for some reason, a very shy Genet. I suppose it's because we come around the corner there and we're all of a sudden right at her doorbell. And now maybe if we just edge and slowly go forward more and more and more, we'll eventually get to a point where we can actually see it and she'll be relaxed enough. I don't know. I don't want to push it too much because I was hoping that we'd get that little face sticking out. But why it's lying with its tail hanging out like that, I have no idea. Maybe it's just because it's hot, so the tail's out for catch a bit of a breeze. Never know. Maybe she's just feeling like she needs to suntan that tail a little bit and make sure that it's in good condition. I'm not sure. I suppose it is after the Christmas season, so maybe she's had a good holiday. Right, Viam, let's try a little closer. We're going to keep trying until we get to a point where we can actually try and see in that hole a little bit. The biggest problem here is that there is a massive fallen over tree. Now, the fallen over tree is what the problem is because... Is that tail going in? No, there it goes. Oh, no, you see, as soon as she hears any sound of the wheel, she's in, and there she goes up towards those holes over there. Well, it was a glimpse. It was a brief glimpse, but it was a glimpse, and I feel like we've won, at least, that we got to see her for once. It's been so long that I've checked this hole and tried to find this genet, and never does it sit very carefully, and never does it stay, and we really never get it on camera. So I'm pretty happy with that, to be honest. The only problem is, like I say, what's that, Viam? Is there a leopard track in the middle of the road, Viam? Look at that. All these things are happening at once. This is a wonderful news. I want to try and see what kind of a leopard track it is. Is it fresh, Viam? Can't really see, no. I don't know. Let's have a look. Let me reposition myself so I can see this. There it is. Yes, there you can see it nicely. And we did find a leopard track now crossing onto Gari Main, but been driven over by vehicles. It is a busy road, and so it's difficult to say, but I wonder if maybe, just maybe, is it old? Shongololos are over it. So not fresh, these leopard tracks. Now, David, you feline or like those? No, so it's not a feline. It's actually much closer to things like ferrets than anything else. So that's the comfortable little hole. Wouldn't it be great if it had stayed tight? You can actually see, look at the hairs. Do you see the hairs on the wood where they've scraped off from where it's been lying? So you can actually see little kind of genet hairs that are all over the place, which is very cool. Fildy, I think it might actually be at that second hole. You know that. There's something that's in there that I just can't see nicely, but there was something moving around in there. Are you there? Is that the tail? Yes, that's the tail, isn't it? Can we see a tail in there? Hold on, I'm going to get a bit of light. Yes, there, look. It's there, it's there. So hold on, VM. I can see it. I'm going to try put the light on. Can you see? Or VM can't see much, but there, you can see it's moving. It's going up. So it's actually looking at us now. I can see it. Ah, this is very cool. Now, I'm going to try and go to where VM is so you can see the spots. Because there, can you see the spots? There is its fur. So I'm trying to use my spotlight a little bit. Sorry, VM. So there we go. It's hiding up at those holes. Now, it camouflages so well in that dark hole that it's very difficult to see. But there's the spots. Now, with a bit of light, it gets into that hole and we can actually see what's going on. But how cool is that? Hello, little one. What are you? Are you a boy or a girl? Either way, you've got a very fancy name, and many people know about you, so you mustn't be so shy. Now, this little one, this is a very awkward position that I'm in. I'm trying to hold a spotlight closer to the camera because the angle helps VM, but I feel like I'm in a yoga studio and all the girls at work have been doing yoga, so now I can sympathize with how this all works. Sorry, VM, I've got to keep the light steady, don't I? Otherwise I'm going to try and otherwise we're going to lose the sight of it. But actually, you want to know the longevity of a genet. Actually, to be honest, I'm not 100% sure. It's something that I've read up many moons ago, and with my old grey hairs that are coming out, I've probably forgotten. So I'm not 100% sure. I would hazard a guess at probably anywhere around 10 years, but I might be wrong. So if somebody can maybe help us, #SafariLife, as to the longevity of a large spotted genet, but I'm going to go with 10 years. That's what I'm going to go with. I'm not 100% sure if that's going to be correct. But how cool is that? At least there is a genet in here. I'm sure many of you for a long time thought that we were just having you on and that we were joking around, but as you can see, there really is a genet inside of this hole, and there is alive. It is not a prop that we put there, and so it is still using this hole, which is crazy. So, James, no, not really. There's no real difference in food and general behavior of small and large spotted. We tend to see, sorry, Vildy, I'm just going to try and reposition my arm. We tend to see them both in the same areas, same trees, really. They target pretty similar food items. The large spotted genet, for me, goes after a little bit larger items. I know that sounds really weird, but I've seen them with big guinea fowls and franklins and various other things, and so they tend to target those kind of things. The small spotted normally goes for much smaller birds, so you see they'll target sort of chicks and those kind of things. It's not always the case. I mean, there are small spotteds that have eaten all kinds of other things as well. But in terms of major difference in the diet, no, not very much at all. They both seem to go after very similar kind of thing. Birds, frogs, insects, those kind of sort of animals. So cool though. VM, I'm going to move the light quickly because I just want to see if I can do something, because I'm half breaking my back here trying to show all of you. So I'm going to try and just come up to where VM is to see if I can get, there we go. How's that? VM, what have we got there? We've got something moving in the bottom. There goes the tail. Going up, and there's the tail just disappearing. Oh, there we go. And out, up further up the tree. Very, very cool to see. So there we go. That's our genet that has decided to go and have a bit of peace and quiet, and I'm not surprised. We've just shone a light in its home. I'm sure it wants to go to sleep before it has to come out in the dark and go and find some food. So while we kind of carry on and see what we can find, we'll go check Treehouse Dam now that the sun's getting down. Let's go back across to Noel and see if Hosanna has decided to wake from his slumber yet.